Okay, my name is Jillian Fisher. I'm the technical training specialist with TripsPark for streets ITS side of things, but I do have some interest in as well in the Nova CR side, obviously. First of all, we're going to go over basically why should you upgrade to Ranger 4 if you're currently using Ranger 3. There's a bunch of benefits. Number one is that it's actually the new Ranger 4 is a much sleeker model. So the Ranger 2, it involved a lot of drilling holes into your buses, a lot of extra cabling required, etc. So the Ranger 4 is a nice sleek unit that has a built-in antenna, built-in Wi-Fi, built-in Bluetooth. It's all stuff that makes it a lot easier to install and to maintain. So no need to drill holes in the buses to install antennas, as the antenna is actually built in. There's no need to buy extra cabling to do any of the install either. It's all a part of the package. It's a lot faster. So Ranger 4 has an improved processor. So it boots up faster, runs faster, loads software faster. Overall, it's just a faster unit, so you won't see as much lag as you may see with the Ranger 2. And there's a lot more additional built-in vehicle peripheral connections. So for those of you that see J1708 and J1939 as sort of gibberish, these are kind of connected ports that allows the Ranger to communicate to other devices, to other peripherals such as fare boxes, etc. And there's also a built-in Ethernet cable. Benefits for Nova CR customers. So those of you that are using Nova CR at the moment and have Rangers, the Ranger 4, again, is much faster and more responsive. With your built-in Wi-Fi, it actually can reduce greatly your data charges when you're using it out in the field. And again, there's more support for additional serial devices. So I'm not sure whether or not at the moment you have any of this stuff built in, but say for Nova CR or taxi customers, you can add in card readers, receipt printers. For fixed route or even the Nova CR buses, you can add in an integration with a camera. So say you have a stay-on camera on your bus, you can integrate with that as well using the new Ranger 4 device. Another big benefit is that you can actually use Ranger for both fixed route and demand response together. So it's two different sets of software that are actually put on the device because the software is different for each. But what you can do is you can actually go back and forth between the two modules if you needed to. So say you had you were a site that used your demand response buses sometimes for fixed route or vice versa. You can actually switch between the two softwares very easily so that you can, I guess, get the information you need for the demand response side as well as the information you need for the fixed route side. And we have a couple of our clients that are currently doing this, and they benefit greatly from it. So Lake Trent, LET, Blacksburg, and the Jewel are all examples of customers of ours that are currently using this dual modal software. For those of you who currently only have Nova CR and don't have fixed route component or are using a different fixed route component, I just wanted to quickly go over our streets solution that TripsPark offers. So I guess one of the benefits of having the Ranger in your vehicles, if you wanted to do both, is that they can both be used for this two different parts of software. So Streets Fixed Route, just to quickly go over it, it's a CAT AVL system. So this gives you real-time bus info, schedule adherence events, there's a route ladder, absence management, work management, event management. You can do transfer and detour management. There's also communication between dispatch and the Ranger, which helps the dispatcher speak to the driver in a safe manner. And it will greatly reduce a lot of the radio chatter that currently goes on in a fixed route or demand response environment. There's also a scheduling application that comes along with Streets. This is where you can create your bus stops, routes, patterns, trips, blocks, runs, and rosters. You can manage peripherals here, so if you wanted to integrate into your fare boxes, your head signs, APCs, annunciators, you can do that all here. You can also get next stop announcements and GTFS real-time data. You can either import or export it quite easily through our scheduling application. Another module of Streets Fixed Route is admin, and this is where you would define security parameters, vehicle and employee management. You can create canned messages, create all of your configurations for the application, how you want the system to work. There's also a passenger information system that comes along with Streets called MyRide, and this is totally tied into the Streets schedule application and the Streets CAD ADL system. So you don't need an IT staff to manage this system. Once it's set, that's it. It works off of Streets, so you don't actually have to say repost schedules into the system at 4 a.m. When they actually go into production. They will automatically update according to Streets. There's also a standard reports application that comes along with Streets Fixed Route, and here there's a set of canned industry standard reports that you can choose from and run, or you can actually take those reports and either edit them, or you can actually create brand new reports based off of the data parameters that your company has. So it's a very powerful tool, and something that, it covers all kinds of different options: fare, passenger info, such as passenger counts, boardings, alightings at different stops. You can do some NTD reporting through here as well. You can do driver summaries, schedule adherence. You can do all of that. And one of the main things with the Ranger unit, especially the Ranger 4 for Fixed Route, is that it was actually designed as a single point of log on. So again, you can integrate a lot of your peripherals with the Ranger, and the idea is that as soon as the driver logs onto the Ranger, he automatically logs onto the fare box, automatically logs onto your head signs, automatically starts up your APCs, etc. So again, something to think about if you don't have a fixed solution and you're currently using Rangers. This is a great low-cost alternative to maybe something you're using already, or if you don't have anything in the works, something to maybe consider down the road. Next slide, Peter, and I'll let you take over from here. You can speak about Xscape from the software background.
Okay. Now, Xscape specifically doesn't have a whole lot, there's not a whole lot of difference between a Ranger 2 and a Ranger 4 using Xscape, but we figured we would review this as well. So for those who are not very familiar with it already, Xscape is it's a middleware that connects in-vehicle computers to host applications. So this is the way that we translate messages that are coming in from the Ranger devices in the vehicles and send them to applications like Streets or Novus or other host applications which from other companies that some of you may be with. It translates the raw data that is received and stores it in a SQL database for future analysis, and it can store, I don't think there's really, the only limit you have is physical space as far as how much logs we can store. Now this data is both stored in that database and also sent directly to the host application for use by reports, as well as web-based traveler information tools such as MyRide, Info, and other things of the like. So this is how end users, for example, in the case of MyRide, are able to determine exactly where their bus is at any moment of the day. This software makes sure that the in-vehicle computers are configured correctly and reduces much of the complexity of the system. So the idea behind the current editions of Xscape and how they're used is it's kind of a set it and forget it. You usually set it up the first time during the first installation, and although you might need to make some minor changes if you're moving devices between vehicles or putting spares in vehicles, generally speaking, you're not having to edit things here very often, and it just keeps the information flowing smoothly. And lastly, like I mentioned before, everything's being logged to a SQL database, so this allows for very easy troubleshooting with built-in diagnostic filtering and a very straightforward user interface. As far as XMobile Manager, again, this is another program that is this is a program that is installed both on the Ranger's devices as a client and on your server as a server. And what this allows you to do is send basically to manage the fleet of in-vehicle computers. So it'll tell you when the last time it was that each individual ranger communicated with your server, and it lets you report on work management, event logs, and configuration settings. And it also acts as some hands-off technology. So a lot of you may be very familiar with having to go bus to bus to do a variety of tasks like update rangers or get log files from them. With our current edition of XMM, we've made a lot of improvements in these areas in allowing XMM to do this kind of work remotely. So even while the bus is out on the road, you can pull logs from the bus. You can push updates to the bus. If there's a problem, you're able to go in and change the registry settings. You can capture screenshots to see exactly what's going on the bus at that moment. Modify files. You can update scheduled work, reconfigure and restart in-vehicle computers. And I mean, basically, the sky's the limit as far as what future settings we may be able to have you access to in XMM in the future. And that is a big part of my role right now is working on basically improving this product and making it even easier to manage all of the vehicles that are, all of the rangers that are driving around in vehicles out in the field. So as far as peripheral integration, TripsPark and the companies that have preceded it, we have interfaces with countless third-party devices. So here we see a list of devices that we've interfaced to, like the GFI Farebox, an ASUS Luminaire and Twin Vision head signs, Iris Matrix APCs, Hanover and Pultex signs, McKinsey Lab Enunciators, Xeon video cameras, and the list goes on, but we ran out of space here. We also do specialize in new peripheral integration, and that is especially apparent when you look at all of the different interfaces that we have built directly into the Ranger. So these are just the examples that Jillian noticed before. We have Ethernet, J1708 and J1939. We also have serial connections for the Rangers, and basically if another device is capable of interfacing to a different device, we more likely than not are able to do that. And of course there are numerous communication protocols built into the Ranger as well.
So another thing that we wanted outside of letting you guys basically get an intro into the Ranger 4 unit, we also wanted to kind of solidify why you should select or why you should stay with TripsPark as well. Obviously, we're a new company that has a lot of experience built off of previous people that you have actually worked with before. So the reason why you should select TripsPark for your either fixed route or demand response or both would be because these products were actually tailored for your agency. It was things that was built from the ground up with agencies like yours. Those who implement the system support it. So this is a great big plus factor, I believe. So a lot of times you might call other customer cares and you get people who don't really know, and you have to go through a lot of back talk to try and find out exactly where it is in the process that you are. So one of the things that with TripsPark is those who implement the system and support it. So you will always deal with a product expert and somebody who knows your file, which is nice. Now, some of this stuff is happening right now, especially with demand response, where maybe you're talking to somebody new now, but because the company is new, but now that you have those contacts, hopefully you'll be sticking with them as well. Again, one point of contact for all of your fixed route, paratransit, passenger info, and in-vehicle hardware, which is nice. You're not having to talk to 4 different companies to deal with all of the different elements. Again, as I mentioned, over 20 years of experience in the industry behind the name TripsPark. Leading edge technology, of course, and another big thing is a lot of other companies do yearly release schedules for their upgrades and new features. One thing with TripsPark is once we have a feature available and it's ready and it's tested, we like to actually release it. So we don't have a set timeline where you will only get one upgrade a year. This is something that will definitely work on a dynamic basis, and we at the moment do at least 2 releases a year and sometimes more.